On Global TV News Prime, Vice President Kashim Shettima urges public servants to remain selfless and committed to excellence. In business, Nigeria targets $1 billion from domestic green bond. On the foreign scene, Sudan Finance Minister says country lost all sources of revenue. And in sport, Super Eagles battle Morocco for AFCON 2025 final spot. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Mukhtar Kasim. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and on StarTimes channel 276. And now the news in details. Vice President Kashim Shettima has restated the need for Nigerian public servants to remain selfless and committed to excellence. He said enduring legacies in service are sustained by daily discipline, consistency in effort, and strength of character. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Communication in the Office of the Vice President, Stanley Nkwocha, says the Vice President said the most impactful record in public service are built through resilience and a steady commitment to excellence, regardless of challenges inherent in building durable institutions. The federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, have formally signed a landmark agreement aimed at reforming the nation's university system and ending a 16-year industrial impasse. The agreement includes a significant increase in academic salaries and improved welfare for lecturers. Education correspondent Priscilla Obasi now reports.
At a formal ceremony in Abuja, the federal government and ASU put pen to paper on a new agreement to replace the renegotiated 2009 pact more than 16 years after its last signing. The agreement, which takes effect January 1, 2026, includes a 40% upward review of salaries for academic staff in federal universities following approval by the National Salaries, Income and Wages Commission. This rise applies across academic ranks and is meant to boost morale and stem the brain drain that has affected the sector. Minister of Education Maruf Olatunji Alausa described the signed pact as a decisive turning point in public university governance and staff welfare.
Today's agreement is a clear and deliberate, with unprecedented demonstration of the commitment of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, to quality, accessible, and uninterrupted academic calendars.
Among the key provisions, the agreement also introduces enhanced pension terms where professors retiring at age 70 will receive pensions equivalent to their annual salaries, as well as the establishment of a National Research Council funded at none less than 1% of Nigeria's GDP to support research and innovation across universities. Speaking on behalf of the academic community, ASU President Chris Piwuna said the union expects the government to implement the terms fully, ending the cycle of prolonged strikes that have disrupted academic calendars. The pact also provides for improved funding models that prioritizes research, laboratories, libraries, and staff development.
This agreement focuses on conditions of service, funding, university autonomy, academic freedom, and other systemic reforms that will reverse the decay, curb the brain drain, and reposition our universities.
Major stakeholders at the event included vice chancellors and registrars of federal universities, representatives of TETFund, leadership of ASU, members of the University Education Department of the Federal Ministry of Education, and officials from the National Salaries, Income and Wages Commission, highlighting broad institutional support for the agreement. The pact is expected to be reviewed after 3 years and represents a significant shift from years of stalled negotiations as both sides seek to build lasting industrial harmony and strengthen Nigeria's higher education sector. Priscilla Obasi, reporting for Global Television News.
And now talking politics, renowned global political and security analyst Professor Ibrahim Abubakar has faulted Nigeria's political and anti-corruption systems, describing them as structurally weak and fundamentally compromised. Speaking on Big Talk, a political program on global television, Professor Ibrahim stated that Nigeria does not operate political parties, but rather political platforms created mainly for electoral access and personal gain. Ubong Usoro reports.
According to Professor Ibrahim, leadership failure in Nigeria is rooted in the absence of ideology-driven political parties, arguing that politics in the country is largely treated as an investment venture rather than a platform for public service. He further alleged that over $1 trillion has been lost to corruption since 1999. Funds, he said, could have been used to build roads, hospitals, and other critical infrastructure across the country.
There is no political party in Nigeria. We have political platforms.
No political party?
No, there's no political party in Nigeria.
The PDP, APC, Labour Party are not
political platforms.
What's the difference?
Until the day we get to go back to the drawing board and build political parties, we will not get it right.
You used to have the NUP, the SDP in the 90s.
No, we have NP, NUP, and then we have political parties. But now we have political platforms.
Professor Ibrahim blamed the situation on what he described as poor administration, management, operation, and institutional control, insisting that no serious institution is currently addressing financial malpractice in Nigeria. On anti-corruption agencies, he expressed deep distrust in the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, and Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, accusing them of failing both operationally and administratively.
I can tell you for free that the money that has gone into corrupt hands over the years is over that amount of money. I think we should be counting on about, let me put it, about $1 trillion plus US dollars has gone into corrupt hands all over the years since 1990 today. And in addressing this issue, it is because we lack administration, management, operations, and control that has put us in the web where we are today.
Professor Ibrahim also criticized Nigeria's political leadership, insisting that the country does not presently have true politicians, but rather political businessmen. He said many elected officials pursue politics primarily for personal and economic gains. Ubong Usoro for Global Television News.
Still talking politics, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has published and presented the revised register of voters for the Federal Capital Territory ahead of the February 21, 2026 Area Council election, with the total number of registered voters rising to 1,680,315. This was contained in a statement released by the INEC Director of Voter Education and Publicity, Victoria Etta Messi. Etta Messi, who stated the presentation took place in Abuja during a stakeholders meeting with political parties where the resident electoral commissioner for the FCT, Aminu Idris, described the exercise as a critical constitutional requirement in the Commission's preparation for the election. And now to Benue State, where the state government has rolled out a digital system for the award of land titles and title transfers in a bid to end bureaucracy and hardship in land administration. Director of Capacity Building and Stakeholders Engagement at Benue Geographical Information Service, Tena Kawen, disclosed this in Makurdi, the state capital. Kawen said Governor Hyacinth Alia had directed total compliance with the new online application process. The Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, JAM, has announced the commencement of the sale of application documents for the 2026 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination and Direct Entry Admission for the 2026-2027 academic session. In a statement signed by the registrar, Professor Ishaq Oloyede, and shared on the board's official X handle, the JAMB stated that applications are invited from suitable qualified candidates for admission into tertiary institutions in Nigeria for the 2026-2027 academic session. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Jigawa State Command, says it seized illicit drugs valued at 2.8 billion naira in 2025, securing conviction for 136 peddlers amid a global push to combat drug abuse. Speaking while briefing journalists on the year 2025 records and activities of the command held at the command's headquarters in Dutse, the Jigawa state capital, the state commander, Hassan Kabaju, said the agency seized drugs include cannabis sativa, psychotropic substances, and other substance of abuse. During the year under review, the commander explained that the command secured the conviction of 136 illicit drug peddlers out of 577 arrested, comprising 558 males and 19 female. Meanwhile, Ebem Ohafia community in Ohafia local government area of Abia State has banned the consumption of hard drugs, cultism, violence, and other criminal activities within the area. The ban was announced by the Ebem Ohafia youth in collaboration with the Central Executive Council of the Ebem Ohafia Development Union, with the full backing of the Ebem Council of Chief and Elders. The new security directive aimed at restoring peace and order in the community were contained in a statement issued by the Publicity Secretary of the Ebem Ohafia community, Ifeanyi Okali. You are watching the live broadcast of News Prime. News Prime continues after this weather forecast. Details coming shortly, plus business, foreign, and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us.
Hello, we're glad to have you with us on the weather forecast for Thursday. Dust haze is still the prevailing weather condition, and we don't expect any significant improvement in visibilities, particularly across the northern states, as thick dust haze is expected in the region. To the north-central region of the country, moderate dust haze with horizontal visibilities ranging between 2 to 5 kilometers is expected. To the southern parts of the country, slight dust haze is expected, while patches of clouds are anticipated in parts of Bayelsa and Rivers State environs. Temperatures are significantly dropping, particularly in the northern states. With this temperature drop and dust haze still persisting, we strongly advise individuals with respiratory problems take necessary precaution, stay warm, and we encourage our airline operators to visit our eFlights folder portal for more weather updates. That's the forecast for Thursday. I am Theodora Itzum. Thank you for watching.
You're welcome back from that break, and now to business news, where the federal government has eliminated tariffs on over 6,000 products imported from the United Arab Emirates, while the UAE has removed duties on more than 7,000 Nigerian goods, opening up new opportunities for trade, investment, and job creation. The Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Jumoke Oduwole, made this known at the signing of the agreement at the ongoing Sustainability Week in Abu Dhabi. Business correspondent Kikelomo Okere reports.
The historic agreement under the Nigeria-UAE Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement aims to expand market access for Nigerian products, facilitate investment flows, and strengthen the country's non-oil export drive. The Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Jumoke Oduwole, says under the pact, Nigeria will immediately remove tariffs on nearly 4,000 products, with the remaining 2,294 items phased out over 5 years. The UAE will eliminate tariff on 2,805 Nigerian products immediately, with others phased out within 3 to 5 years. She added that service and investment opportunities are also included, allowing Nigerian businesses and professionals to operate and establish entities in UAE.
Has been a long time coming. We've negotiated for about 11 months, very tough negotiation, but both sides are delighted that we have a good deal. This particular agreement will allow Nigerian businesses access into that regional hub of the Middle East, and it's a gateway to the rest of the world. It's an area where Nigerians are competitive in services. Nigerians will have up to 3 months to go into the UAE market in a 12-month period.
The minister further reveals that the agreement positions Nigeria as a gateway into ECOWAS and the African Continental Free Trade Area, while supporting the government's economic diversification and renewed hope agenda. She says relevant agencies have been mobilized to ensure smooth implementation to guide exporters on new market opportunities.
Cover, as they call it, an umbrella, has been long awaited by UAE businesses that want to move into Nigeria and into Africa. Nigeria is going to be used as a hub for businesses from this country to come into Africa to invest, to help us as we partner for our industrialization under the Renewed Hope agenda.
With tariff removed on over 13,000 products, the CEPA is set to boost non-oil export, attract foreign investment, and create jobs, marking a significant step in Nigeria's drive for economic growth and stronger ties with the UAE. Kelomo Ukeri, Global Television News.
Still talking business, Nigeria plans to raise about $1 billion, which is about 1.5 trillion naira, through a domestic green bond this year, as it seeks to mobilize private capital to ease pressure on public finances. The government is working with the International Finance Corporation, the World Bank's private sector arm, to structure the transaction and attract backing from international institution investors. According to Balarabe Abbas Lawal, the country Minister of Environment, the proposed issuance would build on Nigeria's earlier forays into sustainable finance and reflect growing efforts by African governments to tap local capital for climate funding. Proceeds are expected to be directed towards projects supporting environmental sustainability and climate resilience. The World Bank has retained Nigeria's economic growth forecast at 4.4% for 2027, signaling sustained optimism about the country's medium-term outlook despite lingering structural challenges. This is according to the World Bank's Global Economic Prospects report released in January 2026, which aligns with the projection earlier published in its Nigeria Development Update in October 2025. The institution also upgraded Nigeria's 2026 growth estimate to 4.4%, up from the 3.7% forecast contained in its June 2025 Global Economic Prospects report, reflecting improving macroeconomic conditions. And now to the foreign scene, where Sudan's army-aligned Finance Minister Jibril Ibrahim says widespread destruction, massive military spending, and plummeting oil and gold revenue have left Sudan's economy in very difficult times. His comments came early 3 years into the army's war with the rival paramilitary forces. Jibril Ibrahim said the government is eyeing deals for Red Sea port and private investments to help build infrastructure. Our correspondent Zara Unasir tells us more.
This week, Sudan's Prime Minister announced the government's official return to Khartoum, recaptured last year, but the Finance Ministry is among those yet to fully return. Dressed in combat uniform, the former rebel leader said Sudan, already one of the world's poorest countries before the war, lost all sources of revenue in the beginning of the war, when the rapid support forces overtook the capital, Khartoum.
Definitely, our economy has gone through very difficult times. We lost all sources of our revenue in the beginning of the war, as a result of the fact that we used to collect revenue, 80% of it from the capital. Most of the industry, most of the big companies, and all the economic activity was concentrated in the center.
Ibrahim's ex-rebel group, the Justice and Equality Movement, once battled Khartoum's government, but it has fought on the army's side as part of the Joint Forces coalition of armed groups. Zahra Nasr, reporting for Global TV.
The United States Africa Command has said the U.S. forces has delivered critical military supplies to Nigeria in support of the country's ongoing security operations. In a post on X, AFRICOM said U.S. forces delivered supplies to Nigerian partners as part of efforts to strengthen bilateral security cooperation. The development comes amidst Nigeria's continued military operation against insurgent groups, banditry and other security threats across different parts of the country. In the meantime, President Donald Trump says the United States' control of Greenland was vital for his planned Golden Dome air and missile defense system. The United States needs Greenland for the purpose of national security. It is vital for the Golden Dome that we are building, Trump said, who has vowed to seize the Arctic island from ally Denmark, wrote on social media. NATO becomes far more formidable and effective with Greenland in the United States' hand. Anything less than that is unacceptable. Trump's post came early on a day when top Danish and Greenlandish diplomats were to visit the White House for talks on Greenland with Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marcus Rubio. And now talking sports, now as the Super Eagles gear up to face Morocco in the African Cup of Nations semi-finals, the federal government has assured the team of the nation's unwavering support. Honorable Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, made the declaration on his X platform, urging the players to draw strength from the hopes and expectations of millions of Nigerians. The minister encouraged the players to step onto the pitch with confidence, unity, and determination. Still talking sports, Burkina Faso have sacked their manager, Brahma Traore, and all of his staff following their exit of the African Cup of Nations at the hands of bitter rivals Ivory Coast. The decision was taken after results below par and what was expected of the national team at the continental stage. The Burkina Faso Football Federation leader Omar Sawadogo spoke of the bitter disappointment and the objective of reaching at least the semi-finals. As Global TV News Prime comes to an end, let's take a look at our top stories. We brought to you that the Vice President, Kashim Shettima, has restated the need for Nigerian public servants to remain selfless and committed to excellence. In business, Nigeria plans to raise about $1 billion, which is about 1.5 trillion naira, through a domestic green bond this year as it seeks to mobilize private capital to ease pressure on public finances. On the foreign scene, you heard that Sudan's army-aligned finance minister, Jibrin Ibrahim, says widespread destruction, massive military spending, and plummeting oil and gold revenue has left Sudan's economy in very difficult times. And from the world of sports, we brought to you that as the Super Eagles gear up to face Morocco in the AFCON semi-finals, the federal government has assured the team of the nation's unwavering support. That's it on News Prime. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across all our social media platforms now showing on your screen using at Global TV NG. I am Mukhtar Kasim. Saying a very big thank you for watching.